For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Chief, will you lead the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Hopefully we can kind of get out of here a little early tonight. We've got some company coming sometime in the middle of the night, so get everybody home and get prepared. If you will, we have minutes from the regular meeting on August the 6th.
And also,
August-
that's not on here, August the 23rd.
23rd.
Yeah, we got both.
Yeah, we got both of them. It just went on the agenda.
Right on the agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion approved by Commissioner Harris. Has a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Armstrong. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Armstrong?
Yes.
Commissioner Darden?
Yes, I'm staying for the one on the 23rd.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Todd?
Yes.
Commissioner House?
Yes.
Commissioner Harvey?
Yes. All right, thank you. First item on the new business, Ms. Janice Phillips.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Okay, that's where you are. I want to say something before I get started with this. You know, I have ministered, I have spoken in jails, I've gone to the state and spoke. Lieutenant governors, everybody, I am more nervous about talking to y'all tonight than I have ever been.
I do not know why you would be nervous about that.
And I have already talked to y'all about this, but it's such an important issue in our county and in our community that I think the heartbeat of why I'm here, that everybody in this room knows about, and people who drive down the streets in Jessup know about. I want to talk to you about our homeless situation. And I've been asked, not only by some of you, but others, how many do we have in Wayne County? How many are in Jessup? The answer is, truthfully, that nobody knows. We can think we have averages, but we really don't know. And so that's why I'm asking you for a building to be able to open up a possibly night-day shelter here. And I want to take that shelter and I want to allow us to be able to gather the information we need to find out what we need. The building that I'm asking you to allow me to use is on Bay Street. It's next to the EMT office or facility now. It's empty. I went over and looked at the building, and it is really a perfect layout for what we need to do. It has a large room where we can put some beds on one side, we can put tables, that room is big enough that we could do a lot of things in there. It also has a couple other rooms that we can facilitate. I drew up a little diagram of that building, and I want to give y'all this copy so that you will know. Is that all right for me to do?
Sure, yes.
So when I talk about what we're going to do, you can look at it and say, yeah, that building, that room needs that. We ain't going to do this, or, you know, get your feedback on what you think and what you want, okay? What you would allow, we'll put on that. Okay. Now, this is my little drawing, and I'm not great at this kind of thing, so, you know, whatever. But I did the drawing off by rooms. There's not a lot in the building that needs to be done. There's not a lot of things. But there's some things that we really need to look at and address. In the rooms 1 and 2, they were offices. Those rooms need to become an office and maybe possibly a room for a displaced family. There's possibilities there. But in those rooms, y'all are familiar with the mold issue in that building. And I really believe that if there is still any mold issues there, it's in the flooring. That front room has carpet in it, and it's still there. I want to pull it up. In the second room, it's next to the kitchen. And from what I have been told, when they were occupying that building, that carpet stayed wet, and they have put flooring over that. So all of that flooring needs to be pulled up. I want to pull that up out of both of those rooms, clean it up real good, and put a fresh floor on. That might eliminate, if there's still emo, that might help with that. In room 3, those 2 rooms are your bathrooms, and each one of those bathrooms have 2 toilets. I want to take one toilet out of each bathroom and put a shower in there. They've got to be able to take a shower. If anybody's going to come in and stay overnight, they got to have a bath, and they got to have clean clothes on. Can't stay not unless you do. In the kitchen, room 4, I don't think the cabinets were ever cleaned. I'm being honest. If you go in and you look at it, you will know what I'm talking about. And so we want to strip those cabinets down, refinish them. We need to put, there's a 3 compartment sink there. I've talked to Mark Townsend with the health department, and I don't have to go, they're going to let me do whatever I need to there, because we're really not going to be cooking there. We'll cook meals at Tabitha's place, and we will bring them over, and they'll be handed out. But that sink, y'all can go over and look at it. You will have to bend over on top of your head to get to the bottom of it to get a fork out of the bottom to wash it. And so I want to take that sink out and put another 3 compartment sink in there that will be easy to access and to get everything out of. I want to make sure that plumbing is properly fixed so there's no leaks in there. The next room is a storage room. Room 5 is a storage room. We want to leave that as a storage room, except I want to add a washer and dryer so we can wash and dry clothes. The big room, number 6, we need to paint it. We need to paint the entire inside of the building. We need to strip the floors down that are all tile floors. That tile in there and in the kitchen and in the storage room is all the same, and it's actually in good shape. It just needs a really good cleaning. Strip down, re-wax, put about good 3 coats of wax on it, you know. It'll hold up for a long time. And we need to put new window treatments in on the windows. And I'm not asking you for the money to do this, okay? Now, if you want to do some of this, you know, y'all be happy for you to have out there, but, you know, the only thing that I really have a question about in doing all of this is taking the toilets out and cleaning the showers in. I don't know if y'all might want to think about if you want to make sure that's done, or we can, you know, we'll take care of whatever you want to do. That's up to you. I'm looking at a 15-bed facility, and you know, we raise the fund and write grants. I've already got somebody lined up to help with grant writing. To a degree, I've already got somebody who wants to work it. He could be like a house supervisor manager for me. There's a lot of things that have already come together on this. I just need to build it. And so I'm asking you if you'll let me use that building.
Ms. Dennis, before you give an answer for that, I noticed you kept saying, we gonna do, are you looking strictly for volunteers to help you with this?
In this work, yes. I think we've got some people that have said we think we can do this work, and I think once the word gets out, there have been a lot of people in the past that have talked about they wanted to do something. The major problem has been no facility. Nobody has a building. Nobody can come up with money off the bat up front to pay for rent. And I'm being honest about that. And so I think once that building is secure, then we're going to see a lot of people come forward and say, I can roll the paint, I can buff the floor, I can strip these floors for you, you know, I can do plumbing, you know, I'll buy the sink, or, you know, you'll, with what I do already at the soup kitchen, I post something on Facebook, in 24 hours I have new stoves. I have a new van. I mean, people in Wayne County, and I've always said this, when I used to go to Atlanta Lobby, I would tell them,
Wayne County people are the biggest givers I've ever seen. They'll come out and they'll do. And,
But this is gonna be strictly for your shelter, it's not gonna be for nobody else to come in and move in on you or anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Mr. Dewitt, have you checked on all this?
Yeah, there's a few things that I think would have to be required, and Don knows about it, that we started looking after you and I talked.
Okay.
And Don and I have talked the last couple of days since we got on the agenda, so that was the first one.
Yes, it's got to be rolled to code compliance, because building's not, have top of everything and all the code in that building.
Is it zoned for it, Don?
No.
Oh, it says that we have to check it.
We have no provisions for a home shelter in our zoning, so we have to go before the zoning board to request that be allowed for that zone. I think it's previously a daycare, which it would fall under the E-occupancy codes. Now it's ambulance, which falls under B. Going to that, a homeless shelter, it would be a residential R1, which would require a sprinkler system. Measure the building is approximately, 5,848 square feet, and each person has a minimum of 200 square feet, and allowing 29 people for occupancy.
That building ain't 5,800 square feet.
And that's not the whole, that's not the front part that was before. This is just the ambulance part where they at now.
Oh, she's looking at the
Next door to them was.
consolidated services building. Concerted services building.
So either, okay.
It's still, but it won't be 5,800 square feet.
Okay, no, but still, anytime you have residential, it still has to be sprinkled.
Okay.
And that's required in all residential in the commercial codes. The independent occupancy, I'd have to figure that out to see what occupancy could be for that size. But you'd have to have ADA compliant bathrooms, you'd have to have the ADA showers, roll-in showers, it would have to have the seats mounted in the showers. You'd have to have smoke alarms, the exit and exit lighting signs, and stuff like that.
What is, each person has 200 square feet? That means-
That's how much room a person has to figure the occupancy of it. You divide 200 until the square footage, and that's how many each person gets.
That's how
many people.
29.
I mean, I don't know how big that other one is.
Like an assembly, a person gets 7 square foot for each person, but in a residential, one person gets 200 square foot.
How big do you think that other building is?
See, I think the total of it was 7,000, so it's got to be about 2,000 square feet, something like that, maybe. It's not that much bigger.
They're looking at 10, 12 feet.
10, 12 people.
That's about what she said, 13.
Mhm.
So if it's a smaller building, we still got to do the sprinkler?
Yeah, it don't matter, any residential, anytime it falls under residential codes, it has to have a sprinkler system.
Let me ask you this, when's the ambulance supposed to move?
This is the first of October, I think.
Well, Richard told me he's starting this week, I think, or next
Would
week.
that side work better?
The other side would hold more, like I said, with it,
More suited, give her more room, but then still got to do the sprinkler. Be easier to do the bathrooms, probably. The
See-
small room, I don't think you do the bathroom.
all the smoke alarms in that building was like they've been taken out, so you have to
Really?
have all that back in also.
They probably were taken out.
Imagine
Yeah.
that.
All the exit signs, exit lights, everything looks damaged. It don't work.
So do the smoke alarms have to be like wired to an alarm company?
No, it don't have to be alarmed to,
Okay.
they have to be interconnected. Say if one goes off up here, they all go off at the same time. But you have to have one in each bedroom and outside of each of the bedrooms.
Correct.
So the sprinkler system what would that cost?
Maybe it's a pretty good bid, 50 plus with all other work,
50,000?
probably, for that building. That's not including the bathrooms, bring up ADA and the alarms and the other things that you need.
Are y'all willing to look at putting sprinklers in, Ms. Janice?
Well, not unless I get a big grant, and if somebody wants to donate it, that's fine.
Don, as I understand it, everything you're referring to are state codes. I mean, these are not things that it's a state.
These are the codes. This is from the 2012 International Building Code.
Yeah.
That's what we have adopted, building codes.
So as long as the fire department, and then they wasn't equipped with the water sprinklers in that part of the building?
Talking about ambulance, they fall under the business. You got different occupancies. You have to look in the book and it says list of occupancies. When you go from something like a business B to our residential, then all residentials, when it's a business, it has to be larger than 12,000 square feet.
A question I have is if it was rezoned back to residential and then somebody wanted to use the other end of that building for business, what would we do?
Well, no, this here, it would be changed. No, this R1 where I'm saying here, this is what it would be labeled in the building codes. It's the B is in the occupancy listing as a B now. If it changes occupancy, it's an R1 residential. That's the building codes.
So that has nothing to do with zoning?
Zoning, no,
Okay.
we don't have no provisions at
Zoning
all
requirement.
for anything for homeless shelters in our zoning. So that's something that we knew we'd have to go for the zoning board and say, will we allow homeless shelters in the zone? I believe that's R2 right there, where that zone is.
What other cities, and I may not have had opportunity to look it up, but other cities, I mean, the homeless shelters kind of doesn't necessarily, it falls into these codes, or it falls into this kind of a zoning. I understand we need to put sprinklers for the safety and so on and so forth for somebody to use it. But, in light of the fact that we don't have anything on it, we could write that ordinance pretty much to say anything we want to, as long as it follows the
Zoning.
state guidelines, I would assume. Would that be right?
I'm almost sure there's state code on, fire code on.
On the homeless thing, I mean, the zoning.
What about the?
No,
On this.
I don't think the zoning's the problem.
On the sprinkler system, I mean, that's mandatory.
I don't think it's on, I don't
No
think
way
it's on
around
that.
that.
I think this stuff here, the code stuff's what's gotta be done. And I guess our concern is because the city owns the building,
Liability.
the liability.
It's a government
We
building.
need to cover ourselves.
Yeah, we would have to comply.
How would, is there a way we could get out from liability?
Not state code.
Well, I mean, if we did everything. My concern is liability. We lease her the building for $1 a year or whatever, and then somebody comes and shoots somebody or.
You could, so the answer would be that you would require them to indemnify the city and to post an insurance policy that they would have to pay for, naming the city as an additional insurer, which is pretty common.
Right.
But that's not always the.
Are you doing that now, Ms. Janice, at the, your building where you at now?
They do not require me to do it, but if, I don't mind doing that, liability insurance.
All right, any other discussion, Council? Yes, sir.
Question, that whole situation in that building, has that been rectified?
It has been. Now, I will not say that it
Yeah.
hasn't come back because all the stuff in it, just like she said, but it's not black mold. It's common mold, just like if you get a damp situation in
building, the big building, you know, there's two buildings there. The big one, the one, the police department, or, fire, ambulance service building there, there's nothing in that one.
There's nothing. No, I understand that.
There was nothing. The building the other one that she's talking about, the smaller building, you know, if we did that right there, it looks like the occupancy would only be 10, but the problem's gonna be is a big issue would be doing the bathrooms ADA compliant. Those are small bathrooms, and it might take up some of those other rooms that you were trying to do something with, Ms. Janice,
But you have to allow a 5-foot turnaround. It told us.
Ms. Janice, have you considered the EMS building?
Oh, I would consider it, yeah. I just didn't know that it would be a possibility.
I mean, it's gonna be empty too.
Well, I'll take it. I'm a beggar, I can't get you.
Now, when you said 50,000, is that to put sprinkler through the whole building?
Yes, through the whole building.
Because it's gotta be
They get that.
sprinkled, the whole building's
Sprinkler.
gotta be
On some side.
No, it don't.
Which, I mean, it could be more. That's a low-ball price.
Ricky, cost that?
Expensive.
Because part of it going in there, a lot of things, so, you know.
It would,
do that kind of work, do you contract that out?
Group of them.
you'd have to contract, somebody have to be licensed to do that.
That's what
You know, the
So
labor,
we'd have to take,
you read.
bids on it.
bid.
I mean, it could be up.
Can I ask a question that's completely
Yeah.
not related to, in a sense, but who was in the building prior? Who was in the?
Conservative services.
Yeah, and so they were leasing that from the city.
No.
No.
It bid in it.
The city owned the building,
Yes,
but, so we just let them have it.
yes.
Yeah.
They have a contract with the county.
It's part of the service delivery agreement.
Right, yeah.
So, anytime in the future then, we let anybody have a building, shouldn't we bring our ordinances or something up that's par, so that we can have a building inspector going on a regular basis and make sure the building's being maintained, and we don't get this no more with our city buildings? Because it's sad.
Make them sign a lease.
You want?
Make them sign a lease regardless.
Yeah.
We shouldn't let anybody use a city building, that we don't have the right to go in and inspect and make sure that they're keeping that building up.
Agreed.
Because it's not our money, it's taxpayer money.
Yeah, it's county responsibility.
I think we had, if I'm correct, we had the authority to go in and check, but we were just so sure that they was doing the right things, and why we didn't ever pull that up, I
Well,
guess.
I don't know if we had the authority. I don't know.
But I don't know either. I know the contract was with the county, and that it was, they made all the arrangements for it.
So if we did agree, that if we came down to Janice and them using this
Yeah.
building, we'd have to have some kind of contract with them that we could go in and inspect this building. I mean, it's not.
It should have been,
just-
done first, yeah. That building, I think that building was built 20-something years ago, and they went in there, and went in right after it, something.
Y'all may come in
It
there.
was built,
Green Thumb was.
it was built.
No, they were in there before Green Thumb. Green Thumb had this.
And then they cut that down. But the building was actually built on a grant. It was through a grant, isn't that right?
See, you got that.
It was built through a grant and had to be used by,
Walmart income and senior citizen.
yes, why it was a senior citizen.
Miss Janice, are you interested in looking to see what it would cost to put sprinklers in it?
Yeah, I'll be happy to.
Don can work. Don can work with you.
Sounds
Get the paper.
What I'd like to see is, Dawn and Ms. Janice get together and get some costs on some of the requirements that has to be done to the building and figure out how we're gonna pay for it.
Yes.
I think the bigger side would be easier to do the bathrooms, I think, where the fire, EMS of that. But I know that little side that she's talking about, it, that you can't get a 5-foot turnaround in that bathroom.
Is there any handicap in
Just one, there's just one handicap bathroom that I saw. But with the occupancy that size, it would require to, whether you use or not, even because that building's that size, you still have to allow that in. You know what I'm saying? You just can't have one because you're gonna say, I'm only gonna have 15, but the building's the size of the occupancy, you have to have it where it has two handicap, or two ADAs. And looking at the building, it looks like that side there's 4 units, so you'd have to have at least 4 toilets, or 4 bathrooms. But 2 of them would have to be ADA.
Ms. Janice, are this permanent, I mean, these folks gonna stay there every night? They come in there the same people, how do you handle that?
Well, there's, based on how it's done in Savannah, where I've talked to them, a person is allowed to come in for so many nights and stay, and then they cannot come in for so many nights. That way, they don't begin to look at it as their home. That, I think they come in for like maybe 30 days and they have to go out for so many nights, and then they're allowed to come back in. That's the way they occupy. Does that answer?
Yeah, and so you have somebody on staff there
Oh, yes.
every 24 hours?
Yes. Either on staff or volunteers. You depend a lot on your volunteers, but they would be trained in how to handle in different situations and what's required to be able to be there. And we've got someone that will be there to oversee that.
Well, Council, I do want to remind y'all, we talked about one time before, the fire department talked about using that building when EMS left too. That they needed facilities, so that came up also. That's been about 6-9 months ago. Is that right, Mr. Dillon? Yeah. Well, I think the easiest thing to do is Ms. Phillips and Mr. Herring get together and just look at it and see if she's, the cost-wise, on it, a big portion of it, and then we've got to decide on the council if y'all are interested in what y'all's, wishes are for this, venture for the homeless. Anybody got any comments concerning that?
Do anything until we get some figures.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the figures are for Ms. Phillips. I mean, that's not figures for us to spend money on fixing.
She's talking about the sprinkler system and everything, but she won't be able to do that.
Well, can't we just wait, let her and Dawn go and look this over and
Come back.
scope this thing out and then come back to us? And then we can kind of have what decide or can decide
Sure.
from there?
Whatever the council wishes to do.
I just want, I appreciate Janice's initiative to do something that is such a desperate, really it is a desperate need for so many, even in our county and our city. It's just one of those things that's, I think, many it's easy to overlook and not think about, but it's a growing problem for us. And so if she's willing to put forth an effort to do what she's doing, it takes a lot of responsibility, a lot of burden maybe off of us in a sense too. So I appreciate what she's doing.
All right, Ms. Janice, you want to do that?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, all right, thank
you.
you.
I'm good girl.
All right, next item, Mr. Crawford.
Talk about water rates.
Talk about your water, okay?
Everybody get a chance to look it over?
Everybody got a chance to look over the last meeting? Okay. I think a couple of things that, Mr. Crawford may be looking at. One is, changing of from the CPI to the MPI.
MCI. That's what it's called, MCI.
Excuse me. MCI. Okay. I'll see that in a minute, can I read it wrong? And, the other thing, the biggest concern I think you have, Mr. Crawford, was, the miscellaneous services,
Yes.
fees and all.
That was, yes.
Did the council have a chance to look at this and have any comments on it?
understand is even with what we're suggesting, we're still below what other municipalities are.
Correct.
Yes.
And so it
Very
is,
much.
yeah, and although it is a increase in some sense of the word, it's, we're still in good shape. And I think, with the services we're offering, the rate we're offering, I don't see where people can really complain. I think it's a good thing.
Well, Mr. Connor had sent us, or got an email from him, Terry's, deal, looking up the MCI in the last 5 years, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And
He
it
sent
actually,
all of us.
huh?
He sent all of us.
Did everybody, it actually went down. So if we were going by the MCI, we would go down on the rates. But that's a better gauge on what you're looking for.
In
With,
municipalities, yes.
yeah.
How long has it been, Anthony, since we've had any kind of increase in the rates?
The last 3 years has went up 5 cents a 1,000 gallons. I think before that was the,
Water treatment plant.
yeah,
With the big one.
with the big one, yeah.
What year?
Before
was
that, I don't know.
I wouldn't remember.
2012, 20, no, I was there.
2012 when they raised the jump.
2011.
Yeah, but we were building it when I come back in, you come in that first one?
No, we didn't, so we didn't.
It was right after I started. So
The average homeowner, when you say 5 cents for every 1,000 gallons, average homeowner uses how many thousand gallons a month?
about 3,000, 3,000 or 4,000.
4,000.
Four was the.
So it went up 20 cents
Yep.
a month?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with what he's suggesting. Like you said, most of now we're, never mind, I'm talking, I'm past it. Let's do one thing at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'll make the motion to approve changing it,
From,
CPI to MCI.
okay, I got a motion to change the water rates from the CPI to the MCI. From Commissioner Harris, got a second by Commissioner Todd. Any discussions?
When does this, when does this go, when does this go into, like, say, if we passed it now, it goes into effect, when does the changes occur?
October is when the other one was.
Is this from October? It's like every year in October it changes?
I
or
think
every
it
year?
is, but I can't say for sure. I might be
Or
there.
everywhere?
We can start it in October and do it in October every year.
Well,
We can-
but
No, that's not what
They're
I'm asking.
saying,
When they come out.
yeah, they're saying they come out in October.
Well, he does the monthly average, it just goes, every month it's updated. So we can
Yeah, but
pick
we
the
don't
month
change.
that we wanna start it.
So in other words, could change every month?
No.
No, if say for instance, we want to start it on January the 1st,
Yeah.
and the MCI at that time is 0.15, then we wait until the next January the 1st and look at it again, correct? And see what it is.
And see what it is for that year. Do an average for that year.
So we either go up or down then?
Yeah. Which is what we're doing now.
One thing
Yeah.
a year. October.
So whatever it starts off with, it just run that for 12 months and then
Is that
you
right,
see.
man? Am I right, October?
I'm not sure.
So it's October right now, okay?
Would it be better to tie that in with the budget? The change in the budget?
Maybe do it in June, July.
Well, we need to, yeah,
I'm just trying to get it correct.
it's easy when it comes out and they send it to us to do it right now in October, be good, and we missed the first one. I mean, first time.
I don't-
don't care.
I don't think it's gonna matter, once you get past the first year.
I mean, look at you started in October, but I mean, we're not gonna go back and charge them for something.
No.
No.
Right, if we're doing it, let's do it whatever we're doing now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Got a motion to, change from the CPI to the MCI in the October billing. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Darden,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner House,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Armstrong.
Yes.
All right, now you wanna get your fees,
Yes.
now you wanna get paid, eh?
Yeah, I just wanna get caught up on some of the services that we're kinda doing it for free right now. And other cities are, charging for a lot of these. So we are kind of, I don't say short-staffed, but we are maxed out. We stay pretty busy, and, like I said,
On that sheet that you got right there, can you call the ones that you're doing right now? Do you,
the, rechecks, we're doing,
return check? All right.
no, rechecks. Like if somebody has a high bill and they want us to go out and check it.
First reread.
First reread, there you go. First one's free, I believe. After that, there's a,
So we're doing those.
yes,
First off, we're doing an account establishment fee of $30, correct?
I believe it was, yeah,
And then we're doing a return check fees,
yes.
okay? Locating meter, we doing
Okay,
that?
Peter, we do not charge for that at the time.
All right, first turn on, turn off? We don't charge
Right,
for that.
no.
Turn off at customer request, per trip, we doing that?
No, we don't charge for that. And we do it, yes.
We do it?
Yes.
What I'm saying is, I'm looking at your sheet here, what I'm
Okay.
trying to determine is which ones that, what
Okay,
is on.
we do that, yes.
On the first trip, on the customer's request,
Yes.
we do that, and that's what we're charging out 40?
No, we don't charge anything for it now.
Okay,
He wants to know what you charge for,
yeah, what you charge for
not
right now,
that we don't do it.
Okay. Only things we're charging for
right now.
is,
That's it, and,
it's basically just the cutoffs whenever, or reconnects when we cut people off for delinquency.
Cut off water for the main,
So the establishment fee we charge, return check fee we charging, and cut off,
Cut off for delinquency.
okay, lock it.
turn off for delinquency, alright?
That's the only thing we charge for.
Okay,
That's,
How much is
that's
that?
3 things. 30 right now.
okay. That's what I was just getting at, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm getting at that. So all these other things that you're doing right now, you're doing for free,
For free, yes.
okay? Well, I think if, and this is my opinion, but I think if we're gonna use these miscellaneous services and these charges, I think we ought to give the citizens at least till, what are we in September, at least till January 1st before we start these fees. To give people time to, ma'am,
Let them be aware of what's
Yes,
gonna
ma'am.
happen.
let it go out in each billing, go out in October billing, November billing, and December billing. That'd be 3 months of it before we just start doing it. And that's just David saying that.
Anthony, how did you arrive at these charges?
I work with Bill Powell, Georgia Rural Water.
Is that the same man that gave you the award?
No,
Still on the,
and you can look up Glen Counties, and they have a lot of this on theirs too.
All right, council. Mr. Crawford came last meeting at the work session, we discussed this, and everybody had a chance to look at it. I think, some of these would be caught the first time or two, I think after one time, I think you'll eliminate it, that's just like getting a ticket from Mr. Lane over there, you eliminate it the next time.
some of those would go away, we go with the AMI,
Yeah.
automatic meter, because you.
Right.
Yeah.
Go online,
That's right.
and we hope we can go online and cut them off.
Any other discussion from the council?
I think a lot of these fees he got on here will scare them, make them realize they got to keep the water on. They won't just be bullfooting around.
Well, I think too, they won't use Anthony and his crew for plumbing.
Maintenance, yeah. Okay. That's what we. All right, any other discussion? discussion, and if we, on this, any council member wanna make a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Harris to, instill the miscellaneous service charges effective, January 1st. Have a second? Second by Commissioner Darden. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner House,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Yes.
Commissioner Darden,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford.
I have a question. Just going back to this, in layman's term, what does that mean to go from CPI to MCI? What does that mean?
It's consumer price index versus municipal price index.
Not, what's this, not
Say that
municipal price.
again.
Consumer costs.
Municipal cost index.
And the previous one, consumer, the CPI is consumer,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Connor, you had something that you passed out to us?
This is what you all had looked at last meeting about the required water connections. And the change that you had wanted me to put in there was if somebody was not currently on city water, don't require those people to make that change until they sold their premises. So that's the big change we made, what was circulated the last time.
But it does have the change in there where any facility that's constructed in the city of Jessup has to go on city water.
Yes. If you look at, really the have-tos begin at pages 4, 5, and 6. Obviously, any new construction, any substantial renovation, et cetera, all required connections. And then even though somebody may not be currently on water sewer, if they sell their premises, then at that point, the new owners have to connect the water. And I shouldn't say sewer, there's already a required sewer.
Sewer, but it's
So
not
just
water.
And what we heard the assistant city clerk provide last meeting was, we didn't think it was that many people, maybe 25 accounts at the most. But this will clean it up.
But we can, Mr. Deal, Ms. Jackson, we can mail those 25 individuals a letter stating that if that property sells, that it will have to be reverted to city water. Would that be, don't you think that's what we ought to do?
Just send them a copy of the ordinance, might even be easier. Or to do, yes, sir.
So this is a requirement of business and resident.
Yes.
And don't understand that we have business out now on Sunset Boulevard that provides their own water. And that what somebody said last meeting, that they're not under city water? Who was that? That was,
Y'all just said it last meeting,
yeah.
Yeah.
They just put in their own well.
EAM.
Yeah,
EAM.
don't they
They
provide
put
their
a
own water?
great big cooling system, and they
They're
talked to
still-
us about connecting to our system, but they ended up putting out a 4-inch well to provide water to that cooling system.
They're still on city water.
The operation is yes.
They did the cooling system which that water don't go through our sewer, so it's really not a big issue. Actually, it's easier for us, I think. I don't see why they did it. They're right about it.
So there's not potable water or anything like that?
Probably.
You talking about after they use it, or you talking about taking it out of the well?
Well, they're taking it out of their well, they don't have to treat it, probably for their use. That's probably not.
I kind of think what Commissioner Todd is asking is, so if that business sells, it'll have to go on city water?
It already is.
No, it's already on city water.
It's on city.
It's just, they're using that just for.
As a supplement.
Yes, they're already on city.
Like, it's the same principle as using it for irrigation for your
Right.
yard.
I didn't understand clearly what they said.
FCI does that also, but they have to
Much better, okay.
have drinking water, because city water is drinking water, or drinking water on baby water.
it makes clear is we're under no obligation to extend anything to anybody if it doesn't already exist. If you want to, you can, but nobody can come down here and tell you you have to. And it also provides that if there are costs to extend lines, et cetera, that you can, if you want to, ask them to pay for that.
That's in the ordinance that we've already got.
And this one.
Same thing that we handed out last meeting that I emailed to you on Friday, it's all.
Okay.
Because I suspect you're gonna hear that again, given what's happened in the past.
Okay. All right. I entertain a motion for the first reading of this change of the ordinance.
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Todd, a second by Commissioner Darden. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner House,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Yes.
Commissioner Darden,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd.
Yes.
And I'll entertain a motion for the waiver of the second reading with the full commission. Have a motion by Commissioner Darden,
Second.
second by Commissioner Harris. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Yes.
Commissioner Darden,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner House.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. I'll pass that down, if you will, please sign it. And while you're signing that, we'll get on to the next item of business, item with the city manager.
Yes, I want to say one thing. I want to thank DOT and the new district engineer, Rob McCall, for all the work they've done in the city in the last 2 months. I thought it was going to be a quick job, but they've been working cutting curves back down so we can manage them. It might not look as good right now to some folks because it don't necessarily have the grass on it, but that grass will come back out.
Explain what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where they, on our major roadways with big truck traffic and with all the traffic we have, sand builds up on that road and blows up on the curb. And it just keeps building up, building up, building up, and gets to the point where it's very hard to mow. And they brought their machinery in and cut those curbs back to curb level, or cut that dirt back and grass back to curb level. They went all the way down the main arteries in town both ways. And it's a tremendous help to us, and I've had a lot of compliments on how it looks. So I'd like to thank you for that, and also, all the help they've given us in the storm this week. Rob McCall and Brian Check in particular. It's not always been done that way in the past. We have a great working relationship with their guys now, with Rob.
And appreciate the work that the city guys did in the police department Monday, getting the evacuation route and all set up. Evidently the folks in Greene County don't really care. They're not leaving.
I expect that to work out.
Yeah.
They do a great job.
All right, Commissioner Armstrong?
Only thing I have read this minute is that, I read online somewhere where it was talking about Georgia Power was working with the lights. Now, it seems to me, all the lights all over town is working, is still that one.
It's been turned in, most definitely.
It's been
And
turned in for a whole month, but all the lights is working except that one.
As a matter of fact, I think you and I talked to this person.
To give you an idea about that, all the street lights were out for two mornings, 2 nights. And I noticed it the first night, when me and my partner were walking early in the morning, all the lights were out in one area, then I rode through town, they were all out everywhere. So I thought maybe wasn't much to it, so I called the Georgia Power, guy, and he said he'd check into it. And he did, and he said, you go by now, Mary, and they're all on right now during the middle of the day, and they were. Right by the middle of the day, they were all on, every one of them.
Some of them are still on.
All of them
And,
except that
then
one.
That was on Wednesday, then Wednesday night, they were all off again.
Yeah.
And so, he got in contact with somebody in Atlanta, and they sent a crew down here from Atlanta, Thursday morning to change out, it's some kind of box that they changed out and put it up and got it all upgraded, whatever. We were the only city in the whole state that it did that to. They made a computer change, so they got them all on, so we'll,
Except that one.
Ms. Armstrong, if you don't quit shooting that one out when you go by there in the morning, we can keep it on.
I have not been walking lately, but I have come through that night. Larry let me leave the house a couple of nights, and I've seen where it wasn't working.
Larry's shooting them out before you get there, and that's what it is.
No, I'm not.
So, that's what happened to the street light, so thank you, Mr. Armstrong, and Mr. Dill, and Mr. Volskey will look at that and make sure that.
I got one other thing I need to say. I would like to thank the chief. I noticed he hadn't spoke to me today. He's a little warm with me, but I can't help it. When I need you, you're the only person I know to call.
I was late,
And I-
that's the only reason I didn't speak to you.
And I appreciate you for taking care of my little issues that I have.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
He was right on it.
He was.
Mr. Doherty?
Yeah, I want to thank the workers who went over in the park on Garvey, did half the work. Didn't get it all done. They put a fence up on one side, but they need to go to the wood line and then make an L to come across this so they can't get into the park. So just put a fence up on the left side as you look at the park. You need to go on the right side and do the same thing. It looks good and it's up, but once we get that up, it'll be fine. I did not check Boston Street, see if the signs came in yet. The Boston Street, do you know if they came in, Mike, or not? Children that play on Boston Street.
Outfit, is that the outfit?
No, they got that one on, that's on Ford, but this is on Boston.
Children that play for Boston.
Yeah.
Outfit.
Okay.
What about our other signs, other street signs? Since he mentioned that.
City Street sign. They still make
I
it?
think for the whole city.
Yeah, they make it. Ms. Harris? Mr. Todd?
It's a dark night in Georgia, Sunset Boulevard in Jessup, next to Greenview Street, and really, we've done something there in the past, but I tell you, that is one dark area through there, and there's so much walking traffic and back and forth from some of those living areas, and it's dangerous to them, it's really dangerous. But it's just a big part.
I was gonna ask this deal, what does it cost to put a new light pole, put a light on it, every pole, on up, each pole we add?
$15 a month, I think.
Is there an initial fee to put one up there?
You gotta have a pole. You gotta have a pole.
You know, I think when they changed our lights and brought that LD lighting down, that messed up a lot.
Yes, not nearly as
They
good.
didn't,
It's
they
not.
don't
Yeah.
go around as far.
That's
right.
Wide,
Not nearly as.
I checked that area Mr. Todd's talking about for him, you've got a light on every other pole. They're just real dim.
Yeah,
It's
dark.
very deep.
When you go through there at night, they're not putting out a lot of light.
Those LED lights that should be able to adjust.
They're not.
We got the lower lights.
We did, because we requested it. And we got all of the stuff.
While we're talking about Sunset there, Mr. Todd, that sidewalk is supposed to be 48 inches. It's about, some places, maybe 18 for the grass and stuff growing. Maybe this winter we can scrape that sidewalk.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I agree, Nick.
That's been requested twice.
There's-
Handle that no more.
Okay. All right,
That's all.
thank you, Mr. Todd. Mr. House?
Nothing.
Mr. Harper?
Nothing. Everything's fine in 6.
Bear before you.
The only thing, a couple things to deal with you. I know it's just hard to ask you to do, but will you get with the county about the census count that we've got to do? And
We're doing our own. We do our own thing.
Are we? Are we setting up a computer or something in City Hall so people can come in and sign in?
No, the census went to the housing authority, set up office there.
So we've already,
So we have
Yeah,
a
they came
committee.
in.
They're getting every recruit from out of the house.
They're, I think the committee is complete count committee, and y'all do that, if you want to set up that. We work with them routinely, they've been in and talked to Rose 2 or 3 times a
Yeah.
week. we help them get some workers, I think, to help them. But if you're gonna do a complete camp committee, I think that's up to you guys to do that. Is that right, Rose?
Yeah. When they came in, cause I think they went to your office first and you brought them over and that's what they were saying, they was gonna set up everything.
Don handles our census, has been for the last 3 times.
Yeah, he always handles.
So do we don't need a computer in City Hall so people can come in and do that?
I
They
think
do that, just.
We haven't did that in the past.
Oh, I understand that, but I think the technology and all that they're using now, they've talked about
We
that.
can
That's
do one. That's
setting up a computer in City Hall.
If they're brand
We can
new,
definitely check on it.
Okay.
See.
Let's look and see if we can make it, I mean, because right now you're saying the only place they do it is at the housing authority?
Yeah, they set up office over there. I think the recruiting help fund there would go out and do whatever they're supposed to do.
If you check, see if that would help us if we put a computer in front of City Hall so people can come in here and do the same thing.
Okay.
Accessibility, okay? And, the other thing I just got a text message from the EMS Director, Richard Johnson. Said that the weather briefing at 6 o'clock, we'll have tomorrow sustained winds, 25, less than 25 miles, gusts up to 39 miles an hour, rain 2 to 3 inches. The only difference is the projected arrival time now is at 6 o'clock tomorrow.
Evening.
Evening, yes, 6 p.m. So they were thinking earlier, so now they're saying it'll be, these winds will be late tomorrow evening. So, appreciate all our city folks that are out working and hope everybody stays safe. And we have a safe evening. Yes, sir.
The sinkhole over by the American Legion, by the water, by the fire hydrant, that has not been taken care of.
VFW,
VFW, yeah. There's a sinkhole right in front of it.
the fire hydrant.
Fire hydrant, there's a big thing sitting out front.
Looked at that too. The right department.
Was that straight department? I think it is.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Just got to
All right.
figure out.
Maybe now you can get it.
Now, don't forget me right here. We're adjourned.
When I go in